A lot of hands from the audience. So, Professor Joseph.
Education, even to the weaker sections of society. On the other side, we make it impossible for that to be made affordable to the weaker sections of society. For example, in fixing fees, of course, you should have fees fixed affordable to the people. And same thing the salary of the faculty. There, it should be with a practical point of view. Because the salary fixed for the faculty in a metropolitan city is the same as the salary fixed for a person working in a rural area. His expenditure is much less than a person working in a metropolitan area. So that reality is not being taken into consideration. If the same salary is to be given in a college functioning in a rural area, they will have to raise their fees to an extent where the poor people won't be able to meet their expenses. So, what is the logic in fixing the fees of the faculty staying and working in a metropolitan city and a member of the faculty is living in a remote rural area where the cost of living is very, very, very less? Because he can hire a house at a very, very cheap rent and he can meet his livelihood at a very cheap rate of expense. So, what's the logic in it? We have a system of fixing the land of the college. We have different areas fixed for a college in a city, college in a town, college in a rural area. So, why don't you have some kind of standard in the fixing of salary as well? Because a person living in the rural area, this big amount of salary that is being fixed may not be, maybe could surplus, I mean much more than what can meet his needs, necessities, and by keeping it low, if there are teachers willing to work, why don't those colleges work at a lower expense so that they can make the course, the program, teaching program less expensive for the lesser income group to afford to meet the expenses. Thank you.
Joseph, taking up the fixing of the fee, many a times the fee is fixed by the government looking into the social aspect. Many a times fee is also fixed by the colleges. Whenever they are not getting, normally if I take a case of Karnataka, so we have a fees fixed by the government as 35,000 and for a management it is 1.25 lakhs. But the government fees for a lower fees everybody comes. But the management says for some percentage of seats, if it is fixed for 1.25 lakhs, nobody will come. At that stage, colleges themselves will reduce the fees, otherwise the seats will not be filled. So, fee fixed by the government on a social aspect because it should be affordable to the all sections of the society. Second one is fee is also fixed by the management because there is a demand. If you fix a higher fee, people won't come. So they will have to manage this. And as far as salary, you said rural teachers working in a rural area, could be fixed on a lower scale. But I don't think teachers will serve. As it is giving the on-par salary with the city teachers, teachers are not going to the remote rural places. If you pay them less, you don't get the good teachers. But you have, as a management, when you started an institution in a rural area, you have that vision of serving the people of the rural sector. But you may not get the kind of the teachers, good teachers for a lower salary, when his counterpart is getting the same salary in the city. So, and when the government or a regular reporter, when they say UGC scale or AICTE scale, it cannot be a differential. So, keeping that in mind, I think they have made a uniform scale for everything. I think if the college is doing well, the quality of the education is good, the students do come. So even whether the fees is slightly less or fees is slightly more, I think the management should have that the kind of vision. The private management, I'm telling. Anyway, government colleges, they will have a lower fees or they can sustain, or government may sustain. But as far as the private institutions are concerned, I think management should have that vision. What is, how long they are going to sustain in this the fee structure and the salary. So accordingly, they are hard to fix. Otherwise, it is very difficult.
I should clarify, I think.
Yes.
The minimum fixed by the ICT or the government. That's not the case. The point is the expense of a teacher living in a metropolitan city is not anywhere near the expense of a person living in a rural area. So if there are teachers available, you fix a lower minimum. If there are teachers available, well and good. Let the management engage them. By paying lesser salary, don't think that the teachers coming in are incompetent teachers. Don't rate a teacher on the basis of the salary he grows.
So
There may be very good teachers. For example, a person belonging to a rural area, if he is working in a college nearby, he may not like to leave the place. He may be willing to work at a lower pay. So if he is willing, why do you prevent him from doing that? So there may be service-minded people who are willing to do that. Why should there be an obstacle there? So such people who are willing to work, or who for reasons of their own, it is close to their home, they don't want to go even far away, they have their own home nearby, they don't want to pay the rent. So there are many other advantages for them in working in a college close to their home.
So your concern is very well taken, but unfortunately there is a dearth of faculty members.
That's it.
It's a demand and supply. If the faculties are more, definitely they may come for a lower salary. But when the teachers are not available, they may not be willing to work for a lower salary. Maybe days may come, so maybe down the line it may happen. But I think now there is a great demand for the teachers. We are not getting the qualified and experienced teachers. So that is what our concern is.
There again, I have one thing to say. That is, whenever we ask for courses, postgraduate courses, or research centers, the side they say that we don't have qualified teachers. On the other hand, they don't promote that. Don't grant courses in colleges where there are facilities. They don't grant research centers where there are facilities for that. So on the one side, they ask they preach on promotion. On the other side, they prevent it. Thank you.
The debate is really getting very interesting. We'll move on to the next question. Please.
Yamani, please.
Comment on this one isn't working, but I think you can hear me.
Oh, yeah, please.
We were working in the field of school education with the Delhi government's review committee, and this is based on my experience with working with this committee in particular. What they told us was that they have set down a minimum slab of salaries. What a lot of times, so what you are saying is that we should go into the intent of the person, and then because if he's a service-minded guy, he might agree to work for a lesser salary. What a lot of times happens, and in fact has happened at least in Delhi vis-a-vis school education, is that on the rolls of the institution, I will be getting a certain salary, but in reality, my salary that I receive is much lower. Promoters of schools in Delhi, I'm talking about Delhi, it's a metropolitan city, it's the national capital, everything. People give you a check of your minimum slab salary and they take cash back from you, or they have already taken PDCs from you. So in light of such, what should I say, malpractices, I think it becomes difficult for the regulator to agree that we can really go into the intent of the person. And I think that's why we have to see the setting up of the minimum slab. On the issue of the geographical location and cost of living, I honestly think that the cost of living, though it may be lower, but it is perhaps the opportunity cost that is being made up to a guy who's not teaching in a city or a metropolitan area and instead choosing to teach in an underdeveloped or rural area of the country. I think that's how we must look at it. And but the question of salaries, whether they should be regulated at all or should they be determined by supply and demand, I think is one that's fairly philosophical. And I am not a policy maker, I'm not an economist. I would refrain to comment on that. Thanks.